Hey everybody, I hope you are having a wonderful week. We are continuing in our series about the core values of Summit Church. Last week we talked about how discipleship is our mandate, and I asked a question in my email about who are you discipling outside of your ministry areas. And all that simply means is, and it really applies to Summit Kids and Vertical Youth, because you guys are discipling in a corporate environment on a Sunday and Wednesday night. So who outside of that are you discipling? Because we are all called or mandated to disciple. And so some of you answered that question, some of you didn't. I'd like to hear from all of you. So if you could just respond back to this email and let me know, who are you actively and intentionally discipling in your life outside of those areas? So with that being said, we're going to continue, and today we're going to talk about how faith is how we operate. Again, faith is how we operate. I know that seems kind of obvious, but I want to explain it a little better, because in Hebrews chapter 11, starting with verse 1, it says this, and this is the NLT translation. It says, faith is the confidence, again, the confidence that what we hope for will actually happen. It gives us the assurance about things we cannot see. So faith is really the confidence that we have in our God to fulfill promises that what we are hoping for will actually come to pass. And so sometimes we can't see that. And so as a church, it's very important for us to understand the faith and how it affects everything that we do, because again, our salvation was based upon faith. And so we have to have the confidence in our God that He is faithful to His promises when He has spoken words to us, especially as a church, corporately. He has given us a vision to see changed lives that change the world. And so we have to trust and believe God by faith as we walk out step by step in what He's calling us to do. But we have to believe that we are going to begin to see changed lives that change the world. And to be quite honest with you, we've already seen changed lives that are honestly changing the world begin to happen. And so, but also too, like in Matthew chapter 21, Jesus tells His disciples, and this is right after the fig tree. So He curses the fig tree. And He says that you too can have faith to move mountains, or you can have faith that moves mountains. That we would say to that mountain, be thou removed, and cast into the sea, and it would be removed. And so there's this idea that there's faith that God has given us, and our faith in God would allow us to see things that naturally could not happen, but through God's supernatural power and His promises, we can see happen. And how is this very important to us? Well, here's one of the ways. Our goal is to see changed lives that change the world, but we want to see it on a grander scale. We want to see people flood in to the doors of our church through our services, through our small groups, and begin to believe God for healings, to believe God for breakthroughs in their lives, to believe God for restoration in their marriages, and all these things that looks so daunting a lot of times. But if we operate in faith, then that means that we are putting our trust in the God who created the heavens and the earth. And that's super important, because if He created what we see and how we live and created us in His likeness, then what's stopping Him from doing these things right before our very eyes? And so I challenge you to begin to operate, instead of operating in fear or operating in, your natural ability, that we begin to operate in faith, because it's going to take faith to really see God's vision and mission come to pass. And so not only in the church, but in your own personal life. And so again, today is faith is how we operate. And so we want you guys to know that we love you, and we are very thankful to be in the position that we are, to be surrounded by such a great team of pastors and such a great team of Impact Team leaders and members, because we could not do this without you. And honestly, if I were to look back on it a year ago, I had no clue that we would be where we are today. All I knew is that I was going to put my faith and trust in God, and I was going to be faithful to the things that He was asking me to do. And as I did that, He opened up the doors for so much more, and to see Him operating in people's lives and people stepping up and answering calls on their lives and stepping up to leadership positions and just stewarding that well is such an answer to prayer. And I think there's so much more on a grander scale that he wants to do in our church, in our city, and in your own personal lives. And so, again, we love you guys. We are thankful for you. We are praying for you. And if you have any questions, if you have anything that you need to talk to somebody about, we are here. Email us, text us, call us, catch us after service, whatever it is, we are here for you. We are thankful for you, and we just pray that you have a wonderful and blessed week.